Business is the largest engine of activity on the planet, and until businesses change their fundamental operating principles, we're going to be fighting these arguments and battles about corporations, about the environment, till we drop dead, which is probably going to be in our children's lifetime, okay? This is the enemy. This machine is the enemy. This is not me. This is the enemy. So what I set out to do, first as a lawyer, and if my reinvention is anything, it's learning to go from hierarchical structures down to grassroots in a most profound manner, and that's my story. But what I've done, and now you're going to be seeing the people who grow your coffee, the cultures, the customs of the people around the world who grow your coffee, because this is the biggest issue with corporations, is that people are commodified. The people that grow our coffee, that grow our cotton around the world, it's great that Verite checks on them for labor, and it's beautiful stuff, but the truth is corporations see these people as a part of the commodity itself. We grow coffee, and the farmers are nothing more than coffee growing units. So what I set out to do was to break through that barrier and to figure out a way to make the farmer a true part of the supply chain, a true part of the process, and to use the company as a vehicle for social justice and progressive change at the grassroots level. So instead of just taking, and giving some money, it's about engaging together to create social change right at the grassroots and the education on this side so we can all raise up together. So, a lot of corporations say they do that, and they say they do that, they take money and they give it to a charity. The charity then takes 20 to 30%, puts 50, 60% in the field, then their local office takes 50%, and hardly anything gets down there. So I wanted to change that. So Dean's Beans created a very different corporate structure. Yeah, we're 100% fair trade. Yeah, we're 100% organic. That's the low-hanging fruit. But what I wanted to do was create a totally different structure. So we created a relationship that's part of our trade relationship that's all about community building, advocacy, and activism. We call it people-centered development. What people-centered development is taking the notion that these folks are not really victims that need our help and our charity, but rather they are co-creators in whatever world you're headed to. Work with in a very profound way. We do development work, advocacy and activism in each of the villages we work in. It's not that we choose one and say, you're the coffee farmer of the month and we don't pay much to the other guys. Part of our business plan is every village we work in, we're creating grassroots development, advocacy and activism that is co-designed with the people themselves based on their priorities. It's not about we think you need water, we think you need schools. It's about what is holding you back from reaching your developmental goals. And it's interesting, it's different not only among countries, it's different within the same village. I've met with women's groups in one Guatemalan village where 5 different groups had 5 different priorities. Okay? We want water, we want clean water, we want education, we want alternative income generation. If we have income, we'll buy our own water filters. So there's lots of different ways of thinking. So what we do is we facilitate the discussion at the village level with the farmers, with the men, the women, social groups, on what are the priorities of the villages here, what's the roadblock to development. Then together, we co-design a project that the farmers themselves will manage. And this is key, because we're not bringing in some NGO to sit on top of the farmer and create yet another layer of hierarchy, white, north, south hierarchy. This is owned and operated and controlled by the people themselves. We fund it from our sales and our profits, and as my wife will attest, occasionally our home equity loan. And this is important because it's a commitment that we're making. We're not getting grants from the government. We're not getting church money. This is the money that comes from our business. We've got a lot on the line here, and we really believe in this. So we work with these communities, we set up these programs, and they manage them. That's really key. So what that means is for the first time in the lives of many of these people, they are actually participating in their own future, not being passive recipients of somebody's charity or reintegrating this concept of victimhood. They're running their own business, they're running their own advocacy program, whatever. We may need to bring in technical training for literacy skills, financial literacy, computer literacy, whatever, but it's their program. So what that means is the projects that we create are embedded in these communities, they belong to these communities, and long after we're gone and long after we stop paying, these projects are continuing. So the deliverable, for those of you who care about these things, to me, is less how many wells we've built, many, how many schools we've built, plenty, how many businesses we've incubated, lots. What's more important is the sense of the lack of victimhood and the sense of empowerment of the people themselves. So they know they're not victims anymore of international trade, they're not subject to North-South charity, they're commanders of their own destiny. And that is about the most powerful thing you can do for a person. And it's meaningful, and some of our projects have been going on for 15 years. We only funded them for maybe 3 or 4. Some of them don't work because we don't do it right. Some of them are wonderful, like these. $250 machine that changes the whole economic dynamics of an indigenous village in Papua New Guinea, okay? Obviously, no electricity, no clothing. So, but this is great, and we've modeled to businesses that you can do this and still be a profitable business, because that's the key. Businesses don't listen to nonprofits. Businesses have to know that they can get a return, whether it's from yoga or coffee or whatever. So we help businesses understand that, and that's important. So if one thing I can leave you with is that nothing is hopeless if you take and go deep and find that passion and then manifest it in whatever it is, whether it's a yoga studio, wheelchair work, a coffee business, that's irrelevant. The point is intentionality, integrity, and passion. Thank you.